What was supposed to be a harmless 10-minute promo interview, just a bit of polite conversation, a couple of jokes. Maybe a mention of Meghan's latest empowerment project shifted. The moment she stepped onto the Live with Kelly and Mark stage, Kelly Ripa felt it instantly. Something was off. Meghan's smile was too tight, her posture too stiff, her energy unmistakably icy. The audience sensed it too. What began as a sunny morning show was suddenly brewing into a storm. No one in the control room could stop. Asterisk under the warm studio lights against the pastel set. Meghan Markle walked in with slow, controlled steps. Her chin tilted just slightly higher than necessary. Kelly greeted her with her usual spark. "Meghan, welcome. We're so glad you're here." Meghan's smile froze halfway. "Yes. Well, I suppose it was time I finally made an appearance here." It wasn't hostile, but it wasn't warm. Mark gestured to the sofa, and Meghan sat with the stiff delicacy of someone prepared to be disappointed. Kelly and Mark exchanged a quick, subtle glance. "Okay. Interesting start." Asterisk Kelly opened with the softest of questions. How was life in California? How were the kids? How was Harry? Meghan crossed her legs deliberately and exhaled through her nose. "Life is fine, Kelly, but honestly, I find it odd that people keep asking the same basic questions over and over, as if I haven't answered them 1,000 times." Kelly kept smiling, though something flickered in her eyes. "We like to start light. Our viewers love keeping up with your journey." Meghan shrugged. "Understandable. Although sometimes I wonder if they're really interested in me, or just the spectacle that follows me." Asterisk Mark jumped in to smooth things out. "Well, we're just happy to have you. Your new documentary is making waves." Meghan cut him off sharply. "Of course it is. Anything I do makes waves. People tend to obsess over my life more than their own." The audience let out a nervous ripple of laughter. Asterisk Kelly pressed on. "Let's talk about the documentary then. You highlight some pretty personal stories." "Yes, because someone has to," Meghan snapped. "Someone has to speak the truth. The institutions I escaped from certainly won't." Kelly inhaled slowly. "We'll get to that," she said carefully. "But first, your work in women's advocacy has been praised. Meghan scoffed. "Let's be honest, Kelly. Everything I do gets picked apart. People still misunderstand my intentions. They don't see the vision. You, of all people, should understand what it's like to be underestimated." Asterisk Kelly blinked again, regaining her composure. "I think a lot of people appreciate what you're doing." "Some do," Meghan allowed, folding her arms. "But the media in general, you all love twisting things." Kelly's eyebrows lifted, though her tone stayed gentle. "We're not all the same, Meghan." Meghan tilted her head. "Aren't you?" Asterisk gasps and whispers trickled through the audience. Mark cleared his throat urgently. "So, moving on," but Meghan wasn't done. "People like to pretend their shows are supportive, but I've noticed most are waiting for me to say the wrong thing." Kelly felt her patience tug tight. "That's not what we do here." Meghan narrowed her eyes just slightly, but unmistakably. Asterisk, "We'll see." The words came out of Meghan with a chill that ran straight down Kelly Ripa's spine, something she hadn't experienced in her long career. Meghan wasn't just guarded today. She was on the attack. Trying to steer things back to neutral, Kelly shifted to another safe topic. "So, your children. How are Archie and Lily adjusting to life away from the spotlight?" Meghan gave a cold, knowing smile. "They're fine. We give them privacy, something people should respect, though they usually don't." Kelly nodded politely. "Absolutely. Many parents would kill for your level of freedom and flexibility." "Freedom," Meghan repeated, sharp as a blade. "You mean the freedom I had to fight for?" The freedom no one wanted me to have. Kelly swallowed before continuing. Well, you've certainly created a different path for your family. Yes, Meghan replied. And some people can't stand that I didn't play the obedient little duchess. Asterisk, the room tensed immediately. The air thickened. Mark shifted in his seat while Kelly attempted a diplomatic smile. No one wants you to be anything you're not. Oh, please, Kelly, Meghan snapped lightly. Spare me. People want me to be quiet, modest, grateful, but I'm none of those things. Kelly's smile faltered, and for the first time, the audience didn't laugh or clap. They simply stared, waiting for what would come next. Asterisk Kelly drew a slow breath. Well, this is going to be a very honest conversation. I can already see that. Meghan raised an eyebrow. Honesty tends to make people uncomfortable. Kelly held her gaze. Only when honesty comes wrapped in attitude. Something flickered in Meghan's eyes, a spark, a warning. The storm was building, and everyone felt it. The once bright studio atmosphere turned brittle, even with the cheerful pastel set and warm lights. Something colder hovered over everything. Asterisk Meghan sat with her chin raised slightly, her posture radiating superiority. Kelly, seasoned though she was, had rarely encountered a guest so deliberately combative. She straightened her note cards and kept her tone professional. Meghan, let's talk a little about your new nonprofit initiative. Meghan cut her off immediately. Ah, yes, the one everyone keeps trying to misinterpret. Kelly paused for half a second before forcing a smile. We wouldn't dream of misinterpreting anything. We're just excited to hear what inspired me. Meghan said firmly, was the complete failure of the institutions that were supposed to support me. Asterisk, a few uneasy laughs trickled from the audience. Mark shifted once more, clearly uncomfortable. Kelly kept her composure. Right. But surely you also had positive experiences. Meghan leaned forward with a patronizing smile. Kelly, you don't get to rewrite my experiences just to fit a feel-good morning show narrative. Kelly's eyebrows lifted involuntarily. Oh, I'm not rewriting anything. I'm just giving you space to share more facets of your story. Meghan crossed her arms. There's no need. The truth is simple, and people only struggle with it when they don't like what it says. Asterisk Kelly felt irritation spark under her composure. Okay then, she said sweetly. Let's get into something straightforward. Your move to California has been described as a major lifestyle shift. How has it been adjusting to life outside the monarchy? Meghan's lips curled. Kelly, everything is a major lifestyle shift to people who can't imagine doing anything outside their comfort zone. Kelly blinked. Are you suggesting I can't imagine that? Meghan shrugged. You said it, not me. The audience reacted with gasps and surprised laughter. Kelly's jaw tightened, though her smile remained fixed. Asterisk Mark stepped in again like a reluctant referee. Meghan, many viewers see your move as empowering. Empowering. Meghan laughed. People love that word. Empowerment requires strength, independence, vision qualities most people don't have. Kelly inhaled deeply. Well, that's one interpretation. It's the correct interpretation, Meghan snapped. Kelly shot Mark a look that clearly said, did she really just say that? He responded with a helpless expression that belonged on someone stuck in the middle of a hurricane. Asterisk, still. Kelly pressed forward. Let's talk about Harry. The public has always been fascinated with him. How is he adjusting to American life? Meghan smirked. Kelly, Harry is thriving. He loves being away from the cameras, away from that suffocating traditional nonsense. Kelly nodded slowly. But some people feel he struggles being far from his brother. From his Meghan's voice sliced straight through her sentence. People feel, or the tabloids feel. Because I'm not interested in tabloid psychology. Asterisk Kelly held her ground. These concerns come from many viewers who care about the royal family. Care? Meghan scoffed. Let's be honest. They don't care. They want drama. They feed off it. Kelly felt her patience slip just a millimeter, but enough for the tension to spike. Well, drama does tend to follow you, Meghan. Kelly said it lightly. But the ripple through the crowd was immediate. Meghan's eyes narrowed. I don't attract drama, she replied coldly. People manufacture it around me. There's a difference. Kelly nodded slowly, choosing her next words carefully. Sometimes the way we respond to situations can influence how people perceive us. Do you think that's possible? Meghan tilted her head. Her expression caught somewhere between confusion and condescension. Kelly, perception is for people who don't have the intelligence to understand the truth. Kelly's jaw clenched visibly this time. Even Mark leaned back, bracing himself. Kelly's smile returned, but it was sharp with frost. Well, she said, our audience seems intelligent enough. Meghan shrugged casually. I suppose intelligence varies. The room froze. Even the cameras seemed to hesitate. Kelly let the silence sit just long enough for the tension to thicken before she moved on. All right, she said, her voice even but firmer. Let's shift to your work in Hollywood. People were excited when they heard you might return to acting. Meghan rolled her eyes. Please, acting was something I did when I was younger. I've outgrown it. I have more meaningful work now. Kelly tried again. But many fans loved your performances. Fans, Meghan interrupted, dismissive. Let's not pretend I owe my career to fan approval. Kelly's tone sharpened. Respectfully, Meghan, every performer owes something to the people who support their work. Meghan smirked. You would say that? Kelly felt something snap inside her, not broken yet, but strained to its limit. She leaned forward, folding her hands with deliberate calm. Meghan, she said in a gentle but unmistakably firm voice. We invited you here to talk about your projects, your life, and yes, your perspective. But you seem intent on dismissing every question. Is there something you do want to talk about? Meghan blinked, momentarily caught off guard before recovering her edge. I want to talk about how exhausting it is, she said stiffly. How people twist my words, misinterpret my tone, paint me as some kind of villain. Kelly exhaled slowly. Well, you certainly have an opportunity now to set the record straight. Meghan's reply came quick and cutting. I would if people actually listened instead of judging. Kelly's expression hardened for the first time. Oh, she said softly, with a razor-thin smile. We're listening. The audience clapped lightly, supportively, and the energy shifted. A spark had hit a fuse. Meghan didn't notice, but Kelly did. She felt the pop, the crack, the swell of emotion tightening like a wire. The tension in the studio had thickened to the point that even the camera operators exchanged uneasy glances. Kelly's polished morning show warmth was still present, but fading fast. Meghan, legs crossed and chin lifted, radiated the composure of someone who believed the entire room existed solely to admire her. Kelly drew in a steady breath and leaned forward with a poised smile that didn't reach her eyes. Let's talk about something a bit broader, she said calmly. You've been at the center of public discussion since stepping back from the royal family. Do you ever feel that you might contribute to some of the controversies surrounding you? Meghan's lips curled into a smirk. People create controversy because they're intimidated by women like me. Strong, articulate, independent. That combination makes people uncomfortable. Kelly nodded slowly. Or, she added gently, some might argue that the way you communicate comes across as dismissive. Meghan's smile vanished. Dismissive, she repeated sharply. Kelly, telling the truth isn't dismissive. If people can't handle honesty, that's not my problem. The audience shifted. Some awkward laughter. Some raised eyebrows. Kelly's tone softened, but her words carried a new firmness. "Being honest," she said, "doesn't require being unkind." The entire studio went silent. Mark glanced nervously between them, suddenly wishing he were anywhere else. Meghan tilted her head, offended. "Unkind? I haven't been unkind. I simply refuse to water myself down for daytime television." Asterisk, the statement landed like a slap. Gasps circled through the crowd. One woman in the front row clearly mouthed, "Wow." Kelly's composure wavered just for a second, but long enough for the cameras to catch it. "Meghan," she said, her voice noticeably tighter, "this show is watched by millions of people from all backgrounds. Suggesting that this platform more the people watching it tar beneath you is incredibly disrespectful." Asterisk Meghan rolled her eyes. "Oh, please. I'm not here to fit into the Kelly and Mark cheerful bubble. I bring depth, perspective, substance. I can't apologize if that's unfamiliar territory for some." Kelly's expression sharpened. "A cheerful bubble." "Unfamiliar territory," she repeated, each word more pointed than the last. "So now you're insulting the show and the audience." Meghan didn't flinch. "I'm not insulting anyone. I'm stating the obvious. Someone has to elevate the conversation." Asterisk this time, the audience reacted loudly, murmurs, groans, a few boos, even one loud, "Oh no, she didn't." Kelly's smile vanished completely. Mark straightened, ready to intervene. But Kelly lifted one hand, signaling she had it under control. Asterisk, she leaned in. Elbows on her knees, eyes locked on Meghan, and the entire room held its breath. Asterisk, Kelly's tone turned icy, but controlled as she fixed her gaze on Meghan. "Here's the thing, Meghan," she began, voice tight with restraint. "You come here saying you want to set the record straight, but every single answer you've given today has been condescending. You don't get to come on a show and belittle everyone in the room just because they ask questions." Meghan crossed her arms dramatically, chin raised as if the entire situation bored her. "Maybe the questions should be better," she snapped. Kelly's jaw tightened visibly. "Oh, trust me," she said. "The questions are just fine. What's questionable is your attitude." Asterisk, the room erupt, gasps, awkward laughter, even a smattering of applause. Meghan sat upright, eyes blazing with indignation. "I'm not here to tolerate disrespect, Kelly." Kelly leaned in, her voice slicing through the tension like glass. "Then stop disrespecting everyone else." That single line sent the already shaky atmosphere crashing into full-blown chaos. The kind of drama morning television never plans for, but secretly craves. And everyone knew if the interview had reached a dangerous edge. One more push from either woman would send it past the point of no return. Asterisk, when the cameras blinked back on after the commercial break. The tension was palpable. Not a single person crew audience. Not even Mark believed things would smooth out. And Meghan ensured they didn't. As the segment resumed, she adjusted her blazer with theatrical annoyance, as though the studio, the show, and the people in it were inconveniences she was gracious enough to endure. Kelly's smile returned, but it was brittle, the kind worn by someone seconds away from snapping. "Welcome back," she said, voice steady in a way that was almost unnatural. "We're here with Meghan Markle, continuing our lively conversation." Meghan smirked. "Lively? I'd say enlightening." Asterisk, Kelly blinked slowly, then continued. "Meghan, before the break, you mentioned feeling misunderstood by the public. But you've also made repeated comments today that seem to place yourself above the public. Don't you see the contradiction?" Meghan let out a short, sarcastic laugh. "Kelly, people misunderstand me because I operate on a different level. Not everyone can keep up with my perspective. That's not my fault." A wave of gasps rippled through the audience. Mark's eyes widened. "Oh boy," he muttered accidentally into his mic. loud enough for everyone to hear. Kelly turned briefly toward him. Then back to Meghan with a calm that had grown dangerously sharp. "Meghan," she said softly, "you're talking to millions of people who watch this show every day. Moms, teachers, nurses, students, hardworking people who tune in hoping to start their morning with positivity and honesty, not superiority." Meghan shrugged. "If people are threatened by confidence, that's a personal issue, not mine." Kelly set her note cards down gently, like someone laying aside the last piece of her patience. "Oh, honey," she said, voice low and razor sharp. "This isn't confidence. This is arrogance." The audience exploded gasps, applause, whispers. Someone even shouted, "Tell her, Kelly." Color rushed into Meghan's face. "I don't have to sit here and be insulted," she snapped. "This show is clearly beneath me." Silence slammed down over the room. Actual silence. Mark turned slowly toward Kelly, mouthing, "Oh my God." Kelly exhaled, calm, steady, final. "You know what, Meghan?" she said, leaning forward. "Enough." Meghan blinked, startled. Kelly continued, voice firm and unshakable. "You came here to talk about your projects, but instead you've talked down to me, my co-host, this show, and our viewers at every turn. We welcome guests with respect, but we expect that same respect in return." Meghan scoffed loudly. "Oh, please. You're overreacting." Kelly shook her head. "No," she said sharply. "I'm setting a boundary." Then, with all the composure of a woman who had finally reached her limit, Kelly delivered the line that would be replayed across social media for weeks. "If you think this show is beneath you, so is this seat. Meghan, we're done here. Please leave the stage." The audience erupted again, gasps, murmurs, even applause. Meghan's mouth fell open. "You're kicking me off live television?" she shouted. Kelly didn't flinch. "Yes," she said simply. "Because this is Live with Kelly and Mark, not Look How Superior I Am, starring Meghan Markle." Mark buried his face in his hands as the audience went wild. Meghan stood abruptly, her chair screeching against the floor. "This is outrageous," she hissed. "You'll regret this. I'm leaving." Kelly gestured calmly toward the exit. "Perfect," she replied. "We'll survive." Meghan stormed off, ripping off her mic as she disappeared backstage. Kelly turned back to the camera. Her composure mostly restored, though the fire in her eyes hadn't dimmed. "Well," she said, adjusting her dress, "that was something. We'll be right back." Fade out. Studio chaos. Audience electric. One of the messiest morning show moments in history. And that was Meghan Markle's explosive showdown on Live with Kelly and Mark, a moment the studio won't forget anytime soon.